सेकंड चॅप्टर 6 पुरुष सूक्त कन्फर्म श्लोक क्रमांक 21 and 22. In these shlokas, we try to understand Purushottama Kṛṣṇa, the supreme master of knowledge, nescience, and all material manifestation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
कृत्यं
नरं
नरं
चैव
चैव
नरोत्तमं
नरोत्तमं देवीं
देवीं
सरस्वतीं
सरस्वतीं
व्यासं
व्यासं
ततः
ततः
जयमुदीरये.
जयमुदीरये।
नष्टप्रायेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
भद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं
भागवत
भागवत
सेवया.
सेवया
भगवती
भगवती
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति
भक्तिर्भवति
नैष्टिकी.
हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण.
श्लोक क्रमांक 21 and 22. श्रुति विचक्रमे विश्वन्
श्रुति विचक्रमे विश्वन्
शासन अनशने उभे
शासन अनुशने उभे.
अनशने यत् अविद्या च विद्या च
यत् अविद्या च विद्या च
पुरुषः तु उभय आश्रयः
पुरुषः तु उभयाश्रयः.
यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे
यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे
भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः
भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः.
तद्द्रव्यम् अगत्यात् विश्वम्
तद्द्रव्यम् अगत्यगात् विश्वम्
गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्
गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्.
श्रुति विचक्रमे विश्वन्
श्रुति विचक्रमे विश्वन्
शासन अनशने उभे
शासन अनशने उभे.
यत् अविद्या च विद्या च
यत् अविद्या च विद्या च
पुरुषः तु उभय आश्रयः
पुरुषः तु उभयाश्रयः.
यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे
यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे
भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः
भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः.
तद्द्रव्यम् अत्यगात विश्वम्
तद्द्रव्यम् अत्यगात विश्वम्
गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्
गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्.
श्रुति विचारे विश्वन् शासन अनशने उभे यत् अविद्या च विद्या च पुरुषः तु उभय आश्रयः यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः तद्द्रव्यम् अत्यगात विश्वम् गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्।
श्रुति
हरे कृष्ण।
विचक्रमे विश्वन् शासन अनशने उभे. यत् विद्या च अविद्या च विद्या च पुरुषः तु उभय आश्रयः. यस्मात् अंडं विराट जग्गे भूत इंद्रिय गुण आत्मकः. तद्द्रव्यम् अत्यगात विश्वम् गोभिः सूर्य इव आतपन्.
Translation and purport by the Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. By his energy, the all-pervading personality of Godhead is thus comprehensively the master in the activities of controlling and in devotional service. He is the ultimate master of both nescience and actual knowledge of all situations. From the personality of Godhead, all the universal globes and of the universal form with all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated. Yet he is aloof from such material manifestations like the sun, which is separate from its rays and heat. Purport. The word Vishwan is significant in this verse. One who travels perfectly in every field of activity is called the Purush or Kṣetrajña. These two terms, Kṣetrajña and Purush, are equally applicable to both the individual self and the Supreme Self. the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita 13.3, matter is explained as follows. kṣetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kṣetrajñyoho jnanam yat tat jnanam matam mama. Kshetra means the place, and one who knows the place is called the kṣetrajña. The individual self knows about his limited field of activities, but the Supreme Self, the Lord, knows about the unlimited field of activities. The individual soul knows about his own thinking, feeling, and willing activities, but the super soul or the Paramātmā, the supreme controller, being present everywhere, knows everyone's thinking, feeling, and willing activities. And as such, the individual living entity is the minute master of his personal affairs, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the master of everyone's affairs, past, present, and future. Veda Ham Samatitani, etc. Only the ignorant person does not know this difference between the Lord and the living entities. The living entities, as distinguished from incognizant matter, may be qualitatively equal to the Lord in cognizance, but the living entity can never be equal to the Lord in full knowledge of past, present, and future. And because the living entity is partially cognizant, he is therefore sometimes forgetful of his own identity. This forgetfulness is specifically manifested in the field of the Ekpad Vibhuti of the Lord or in the material world, but in the Tripad Vibhuti field of actions or in the spiritual world, there is no forgetfulness by the living entities who are free from all kinds of contamination resulting from the forgetful state of existence. The material body is the symbol of the gross and subtle form of forgetfulness. Therefore, the whole atmosphere of the material world is called avidyā or nescience, whereas the whole atmosphere of the spiritual world is called vidyā or full of knowledge. There are different stages of avidyā and they are called dharma, artha, and moksha. The idea of moksha or liberation held by the monists in the matter of oneness of the living entity and the Lord by ultimate merging in one is also the lost stage of materialism or forgetfulness. Knowledge of the qualitative oneness of the self and super self is partial knowledge and ignorance, also because there is no knowledge of quantitative difference. As explained above, the individual self can never be equal to the Lord in cognizance. Otherwise, he could not be placed in the state of forgetfulness. So, because there is a stage of forgetfulness of the individual self or the living entity, there is always a gulf of difference between the Lord and the living entity, as between the part and the whole. The part is never equal to the whole. So, the conception of 100% quality of the living being with the Lord is also Nissan. In the field of Nissan's activities are directed toward lording it over the creation. In the material world, therefore, everyone is engaged in acquiring material opulences to lord it over the material world. Therefore, there is always clash and frustration, which are the symptoms of Nissan. But in the field of knowledge, there is devotional service to the Lord, bhakti. Therefore, there is no chance of being contaminated by the influence of nescience or forgetfulness avidyā. In the liberated stage of devotional activities, the Lord is thus the proprietor of the field both of nescience and the avidyā, and remains the choice of the living entity to exist in either of the above regions. The supreme truth has been ascertained in the previous verse as Purush or the Purushottama, the supreme person. The absolute person is the Ishvara or the supreme controller. By his different energies, the Ekpat Vibhuti manifest of the material energy of the Lord is just like one of many mistresses of the Lord, by whom the Lord is not so much attracted as indicated in the language of the Gita, Bhinna Prakruti, but the region of the Tripad Vibhuti, being a pure spiritual manifestation of the energy of the Lord, is, so to speak, more attractive to him. The Lord therefore generates the material manifestation by impregnating the material energy, and then within the manifestation, he expands himself as the gigantic form of the Vishwarup. The Vishwarup, as it was shown to Arjuna, is not the original form of the Lord. The original form of Lord is transcendental form of Purushottam or Kṛṣṇa himself. It is very nicely explained here that he expands himself just like the sun. The sun expands itself by its terrible heat Yet the sun is always aloof from such rays and heat. The impersonalists take into consideration the rays of the Lord without any information of the tangible, transcendental, eternal form of the Lord, known as Kṛṣṇa. Therefore, Kṛṣṇa, in his supreme personal form with two hands and flute, is bewildering for the impersonalist who can accommodate only the gigantic Vishwarupa of the Lord. They should know that the rays of the sun are secondary to the sun, and similarly, the impersonal gigantic form of the Lord is also secondary to the personal form as Purushottama. The Brahma Samhita 7.37 confirms this statement as follows. Anand Anand Chinmaya Rasa Pratibha Bhavita Bhi Tabhi एव निज रूपतय कलाभिः गोलोक एव निवसति अखिलात्म भूत govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. The supreme personality of Godhead, Govinda, the one who enlivens the senses of everyone by his personal bodily rays, reside in his transcendental abode called Golok. Yet he is present in every nook and corner of his creation of expansion of happy spiritual rays, equal in power to his personal potency of bliss. He is therefore simultaneously person and impersonal by his inconceivable potency, or he is the one without a second, displaying complete unity in diversity of material and spiritual manifestation. He is separate from everything, and still nothing is different from him. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataruvecha Rupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6. Purush Sukta confirm Shlok Kramanka 21 and 22. Here in this shloka 21, they describe about the word Vishwan, that is important, and one who travels perfectly in every field of activity is called Purush and Kṣetrajña. And what is the meaning of Kshetra? And individual soul knows about his thinking, feeling, and willing activities, but super soul or the controller being present everywhere knows everything's thinking, feeling, and willing that described there. And again, they describe about the forgetfulness of what happened if we forget uh, about Ekpad Vibhuti and Tripad Vibhuti. Then the field of Nescience activities are directed toward lording it over creation. And in second shloka, they describe about the universal globe, uh, and its all material elements, qualities, and senses are generated, and this manifestation is comparing to the sun and its rays and heat. Uh, like they're describing about this. Prabhuji will tell us in nicely. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpatarubhyacha kripa sindhubhyacha putitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hopefully, I am audible, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, as we were discussing, this is all the narration by Brahmaji to Naradji, and he is diving deep into all the aspects of this material world. As we saw the other day, what is happening is today the comparison between material world and spiritual world gets completed. And from 23rd shloka onwards, Brahma is going to give the testimony that Lord is the material cause. So today there are two aspects to the shlokas. The first aspect is talking about qualifications to enter the spiritual world. And then in the second aspect, we are understanding the intricacies. So, firstly, what Brahmaji starts the narration about is how Krishna is the supreme master in all fields. So, by his unlimited energies, all pervasion, Krishna, who is the personality of Godhead, is the master of both nescience as well as knowledge. That is, vidyā cha avidyā cha. So, that's the very first aspect which gets cleared, that Krishna is the master. So, whether it is knowledge, whether it is avidyā, both have the origin in Krishna and both are controlled by Krishna. Why? Because he is kṣetrajña, that is knower of the field, and he is knower of the field in the unlimited sense. So, what does it mean is that he knows the thoughts, feelings, will of all beings. So, we individual sirs are also kṣetrajña, but we only are minute knowers of our limited fields. So, if you remember in Bhagavad Gita, we learnt it in that chapter about kṣetrajña. So, individual soul has limited knowledge confined to own body and experiences. So, we are very prone to forgetfulness of the true identity in the material world. But Supreme Soul or Paramātmā is present everywhere and knows the thoughts, feelings, actions of all living beings across all time, past, present, and future. So the question arises, how is it possible? So let us take a very simple example. We all are having, say, some data in our computer or mobile, and we store it on the local drive. So the local drive has the knowledge of whatever is the data available. But suppose we store it in Google Drive, which is on the cloud, and everyone starts giving the data there, then Google Drive is having access to data of everyone. So Krishna is all pervading. So it has the knowledge of everyone. So it is the biggest kṣetrajña. So qualitatively, though similar to the Lord in consciousness, living beings are quantitatively different. Hence, forgetfulness and illusion occurs only for the jīva and never for the Lord. Now, in this shloka, we are talking about vidyā and avidyā. So, material world, which we have seen yesterday as ekapad vibhuti, is the field of forgetfulness. Why? Because it is driven by the desire to lord over creation, leading to conflict and frustration. And spiritual world, which is tripad vibhuti, is the realm of pure knowledge and service, free from contamination. Even the concept of liberation as merging with the Lord is a stage of materialism. In fact, the final stage of materialism, because it ignores the eternal quantitative difference between Jiva and the Lord, the part and the whole. This is something called as the illusion of oneness. So, qualitatively similar in terms of consciousness, but quantitatively different. The part can never be equal to the whole. So, the belief in 100% equality is a form of nescience. And then we understand the concept of Lord's aloofness and expansion. The Lord manifests the universes by impregnating material energy. And then he expands as Vishwarup. Yet he remains aloof. Just like the sun remains separate from its rays and heat. The sun emits heat and light which spread everywhere, but the sun itself remains a distinct entity. Similarly, the Lord expands his energies to create and sustain the universe, but he remains in his personal, transcendental form of Shama Sundara. So Vishwarup is secondary. The original form is the two-armed Krishna, Purushottama, Shama Sundar, the transcendental supreme person. So what we see here is that Krishna has personal and impersonal aspects. So like the sun and its rays, the Lord is simultaneously personal in Golok Vrindavan as Krishna and impersonal as Brahma Jyoti by his Achintya Shakti. And that is why impersonal realization is complete. Full realization comes by understanding the Lord's eternal personal form as the source of all manifestations. And that is where we find the superiority of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 15 chapter 18 shloka, it is mentioned that Krishna is beyond both fallible and infallible beings. No one surpasses him. Yasmat aksharam matitah aham aksharat api cha uttama atah smiloke vede cha pratitha purushottamam. Because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. So, Sat, the existence, is equal in quality with Krishna. Ananda, bliss, can be experienced in liberation. Chit, knowledge, quantitatively less. The Jeev can never match Krishna's omniscience. That is why we have to understand the purpose of Vedic knowledge. Like in the immediate next shloka, the 19th shloka of 15th chapter, it is said that one who knows Krishna without doubt engages in full devotional service. And this is the essence of the Vedas. Yo mam evam asamudho janati purushottamaham sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So mere speculation, even for lifetimes, is futile without surrender to Krishna. The word bhajati signifies that true Vedic understanding culminates in devotional service, making other processes redundant. So we should never equate the jiva with the supreme in all aspects. There is eternal superiority of the Lord. Spiritual progress depends on Shruti based learning from bona fide authorities, not mere academic speculation. So, choosing bhakti over material ambition or impersonal liberation keeps one in vidyā and under the Lord's personal shelter. And that is what is most important. That is why, if we understand these aspects, we get free from the stresses of our day to day life. We need to understand that it is Kṛṣṇa who is the master, who is controlling. It is Kṛṣṇa who is the aspect of our devotional service. It is Kṛṣṇa. From him, all the material elements and the senses are generated, and is not affected by anything. It is only he, since he is the Ishavasyam idam sarvam, only he can provide the breakthrough from the current sufferings that we are in. So it is but obvious that we need to please him. Just like any employee would like to please his employer to get promotion, to get higher salary, to get incentives. Similarly, if we are able to please Kṛṣṇa, we can be given the higher incentive of having the opportunity to serve him personally in Golok Vrindavan, which is the dham where it is Satchidananda. So where there is no kuntaha, where we won't have to face the troubles and sufferings that we are currently facing. That is why these shlokas that we have studied today are very, very important, because they directly make us accept Kṛṣṇa as comprehensively the master in activities of controlling as well as devotional service, which makes us understand that everything is generated from him. So we need to surrender to him. We need to please him. And how is that possible? By being a good devotee. There are 6 living exchanges between the devotees, so we can follow them. We need to chant, which is the Yug Dharma. Take only Krishna Prasadam as diet. Have Vigraha Seva at home or in temple, and engage in any service which you find suitable, which would please the devotees, which would please the Guru Maharaj, and which would please Srila Prabhupada, Radharani, and Krishna. And the best is Shravanam. Prabhupada ji gives his own example that when his friend took him to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was just listening. And when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was recommended that he is a good devotee, can you initiate him? The statement which he made was, yes, I know him. He loves to listen and is always there till the end. So that is the quality maybe which we can extol and please Krishna. Thank you very much.